Debt jubilee. Is it inevitable in the tokenized future? Imagine a world where your mortgage vanishes, student loans disappear, and even governments no longer owe mountains of unpayable debt. Too good to be true? Maybe not. History tells us that when debt piles too high, it always ends the same way, through forgiveness, restructuring, or collapse. The question is not if a debt jubilee will happen again, but how, and whether tokenization and digital currencies will be the tools to make it possible in our lifetime. History repeats itself. Debt jubilees are not a modern fantasy. Ancient Mesopotamian rulers regularly declared all debts forgiven to restore social stability. In the Bible, every 50th year was the year of Jubilee, where land returned to its owners and debts were wiped away. Even in modern times, we've seen echoes of this. IMF debt relief for developing nations or sovereign defaults like Argentina and Greece. The pattern is clear. When debt becomes mathematically impossible to repay, it will not be repaid. Forgiveness, forced or organized, is the only escape valve. The $300 trillion problem today's global economy is drowning in obligations. Worldwide debt now exceeds $300 trillion, over 3 times the planet's GDP. The US alone has federal debt topping 150% of GDP. Japan's is even higher. Corporations issue endless bonds to refinance old loans. Households take on mortgages and student loans that last a lifetime. The reality is simple. This debt is unpayable. And history tells us when debt becomes unpayable, it is erased, whether by default, inflation, or jubilee. The digital revolution, a cleaner reset. Here's what makes this era different. Technology. For the first time, we have tools to manage a global debt reset in a transparent, auditable way. Blockchain can represent every bond, loan, and mortgage as a token. Smart contracts can restructure or burn debt instruments instantly. Tokenized currencies can replace old notes with new, debt-free money. Instead of chaotic defaults, nations could coordinate a controlled, tokenized jubilee, wiping trillions in a matter of keystrokes. XRP and the neutral bridge. Even if debts are erased, the world still needs rails to transfer value. That's where assets like XRP enter the conversation. Designed for instant, low-cost settlement, XRP is already ISO 2022 compliant and built to bridge national currencies. In a post-jubilee world, where every nation issues new digital money, a neutral settlement asset becomes essential. XRP could function as the reset bridge, moving value between tokenized economies with trust and efficiency. Winners and losers. Every reset creates winners and losers. Winners: households free of mortgages, students unshackled from loans, emerging economies finally able to grow without crushing IMF payments. Losers: banks, bondholders, pension funds, and wealthy elites whose paper wealth evaporates overnight. And that's the core obstacle. Those with the most to lose hold the most power, which means Jubilee is politically unthinkable until a crisis makes it unavoidable. If the crisis trigger in the short term, governments will try to kick the can. They'll rely on inflation, currency devaluation, and endless refinancing to stretch the system. But the math doesn't lie. At some point, whether due to a global recession, a sovereign default, or a currency collapse, the system will snap. When that happens, leaders will frame a jubilee not as utopia, but as survival. Wipe the slate clean, reset the system, and start again. Tokenization will make it possible. Crisis will make it necessary. And the inevitable future. So, what are the chances of a global debt jubilee? Short term, 1 to 5 years. Low. Politicians prefer inflation over forgiveness. Medium term, 5-15 years and rising. Tokenization will be widespread, and crisis pressure will mount. Long term, 15+ years, almost certain. History says it always happens. The only real question is whether it's messy and chaotic or clean and digital. Closing thought. A tokenized jubilee may sound radical, but so did every reset before it. When debt outgrows the ability to pay, the ledger is always rewritten. The difference this time is the technology. Blockchain could turn a messy collapse into a controlled transition. Would you welcome a debt jubilee if it wiped your loans away, even if it meant rewriting the global system? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to LTL Productions for more deep dives into crypto, finance, and the future of money. This is not financial advice. It's education for the digital age.